Hello, this is John Fry, and today we're going to look at your Gmail and how to get the most out of your Gmail today. I'm going to be using the character Jon Snow today, and we're going to go over some different settings and how to organize your emails better. Let's go ahead and look at some of the really interesting down arrows that Gmail has to offer. Number one is their down arrow here. If you click on it, you notice that you also have the ability to look at your contacts, create new contacts, and also create tasks. You also have a down arrow here that you can start checking off if you want unstarred, starred, unread, and so forth to filter. You also have the more, and that is mark all as read. Like say Tyrion's, you'll notice that there are other options as well, such as looking at moving this to a particular label, or to label it, or to do other things with it. Down arrows are always good to be curious about. There's a down arrow here. This is actually how you can search all your emails, and you can filter your emails with this down arrow. If I have an email that I want from a particular person, I can type that in, but if I don't know that, I can start putting in material here, such as who's it from, who's it to, what their subject was, does it have particular words, and so forth, attachments and things. Over here on the right, you also have a down arrow, and that is our settings, and this is where we're going to start today. I want you to go ahead and click on settings. Right now you'll notice that there's a language, there's a phone number, there's page size, images. What I really would like you to look at is the undo send setting. This gives you the ability to think on your email for approximately 30 seconds. If you do not have this checked and you send your email, it will send it right away. So if you do not have that checked, I would absolutely suggest checking enable undo send, and the maximum time you can unsend it is 30 seconds. Also down here I have a picture of John, and I can change that picture if I want. And down here I can have a signature of myself. So if you feel like you want to have a signature, you can actually click on there, and this is where you would type in something or under there, and that could be my signature. So what happens is when you're done with this, you're going to actually click Save Changes, and that'll save the changes that were on your settings for that first section. So let's go back to settings. Let's go to labels. And you'll notice these are all the different default labels that you can either show or hide. If it's in black, it's showing. If it's the hide is black, it means it's not showing, and you'd actually have to look for it. What we're going to do today is actually create some new labels. We can go back to the inbox, and you'll notice that I have a couple from Tyrion, a couple from Sansa, some Flocabulary, some Squiggle Park. So I think I might organize these a little bit better into labels. So what I would do is I could either click more and create new label here, or I can actually go over to settings and go to labels, and down in the middle you have create label. Either way, those are two ways to create a new label. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new label. I'm going to call it Tyrion, because I want all of his. I don't want any sub labels, so I'm just going to click create. It'll create on the left hand side a label called Tyrion. It's also known as a folder, but Google calls them labels. I'm going to go ahead and do that again with Sansa, create, and I'm also going to do Flocabulary, and I will also create Squiggle Park. Now that I've created all these different labels, I can actually do one of two things: grab on to Tyrion's with using the left click button and move it physically over to Tyrion and let it go, and you'll notice that it went from 2 Tyrions to 1, and it's no longer in the stream here. I can also do this to Sansa and go over here and let go, and what you'll notice is that if I click on it, that 1 has moved over. Tyrion's 1 has moved over. You also know that these are in bold because they haven't been read yet. So if I click on Tyrion's and read it, John dating the Dragon Queen, you'll notice that if it comes back to it, it's already been read. It's not bold anymore. Sometimes you'd like to organize these things, such as Flocabulary, and I want to take all of them, so I left click on all 3, and it gives me an option to do several things from right here. Instead of just pulling them over one by one, I can actually click on the down arrow next to the folder, which is a label, and actually physically move them to and click on Flocabulary, and you'll notice that 3 are now over here. The rest of these, though, I would like to put them in a folder, a label folder over here, but I would like to keep them here so I can see them on a daily basis. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Samantha Sproul, and instead of taking her and shoving her into the Squiggle Park, I'm actually going to go here to Labels and down click the label, and I click Squiggle Park. And what ends up happening is they actually have moved over to Squiggle Park. So if I actually click on here, you'll see all three. There they are. But what it also does is it keeps them here on my main stream so I can pay attention to them on a daily basis. They just have this little notifier here called Squiggle Park. And that's the kind of the difference. Sansa, same thing. I'm going to put Sansa there, and then Tyrion with dragons. I'm going to put Tyrion with Tyrion. And so you'll notice that I've done two different things. Oh, I'll also put Sansa with Tyrion. So I don't want that. So I can actually undo there. And now she's off. So you'll see that I've done several different things. I've actually physically moved people over into their labels, or I've labeled them and they've stayed in the stream. So that's really pretty cool. Let's go ahead and go back over to your settings. And we did labels. Now we're going to do inbox, and you'll notice that the inbox type is default. It gives you an opportunity to put important ones first, unread ones first, starred ones first, and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and click unread first, and what it'll do is it'll put all my unread emails first. I want up to 25 unread ones done. Everything else is my next option. I can also customize my priority box to add other selections, such as I can do a label, such as unread first, vocabulary second, and then I also want Tyrion third, and then everything else fourth. But this gives you options to what's coming into your mail, and then when you're ready, click Save Changes. And you'll notice that when you come back to this, it's set up in different subheadings. So anything that is unread first, then all vocabulary is next, and then anything Tyrion is next after that. And then if I had anything else, it would be under there. And if I don't like that, I can actually go back to the settings, and I can go back to my inbox and click Reset Priority Inbox back to default. And Save Changes, and it'll go back to exactly the way it was. You can actually pick an email, and under the More you had Add to Tasks. So if I click Add to Tasks, what it'll do, it pops up all my tasks in the corner, and it adds something called Dragons Related Email right here at the bottom. And so what I'm going to do is right arrow click that, and I can add a due date to it. So I need to know it by February 21st. I can add a note to it. Please email back. I can then go back to my list, and it has now created a due date right here, Wednesday the 21st, and it also says please email back. So that's kind of neat. I can also actually click on this and email it. There's a thing, I don't know if you can see it, but down below here there's an actions button. I can actually email this task list to somebody if I need to as well. So that's kind of neat. Task lists are nice little reminders that you, while you're working in email, but that's what a task list is. If you don't want to make a task list specifically from an email, you can actually just go to Mail and go to Tasks, and it'll just open it up, and you can start making one yourself. Alright, last thing for today, other than that, is we're going to go ahead and look at something kind of fun called themes. So you can either go to settings or just directly click on themes, and this is basically the background that you have for your email, make it a little bit more interesting. And you can pick any picture, so I'm going to pick chess, and it'll give you a preview, and if you like it, you think you want to keep it, you can go ahead and hit save. And it gives you kind of a nice background to your email. If you don't like it, you can actually go back to themes. You can pick a photo if you'd like, or change back to the light default, or just something different. It's up to you, but it's kind of a fun little thing to make the background look interesting. All right, I hope you've learned a little bit about Gmail and tasks today. If you have any questions, just see me, John Fry. Have a great day.